Welcome back, guys. We're getting down to the end of this book. 2 more chapters to go. This one is chapter 14 by Gary Paulson, the Lawn Boy. It's called Resource Utilization, Its Causes and Effects. At Arnold's, we parked behind Joey's station wagon just as he was stepping out of the driver's side. Shouldn't we help in some way? Mom asked, until she saw him standing. Well, on second thought, Joey can handle it, but we're going with him. I got out of the car. No matter what happened, Arnold might need help, either during or after. I started walking towards the house. Mom and Dad with me. Grandma brought up the rear. I know, or I thought I knew, what was coming. Joey had gone into the porch slowly, closing the screen door quietly behind him. By that time, we were close to the house. If the front door was locked, it didn't slow him down. He hit it with his shoulder, took it off the hinges, and it was out of sight. There was a muffled thumping sound. Oh no! Rock or his men might have a gun. Later I found out it was just the sound of one of the men having his head jammed into the dishwasher without opening the door on the washer. After the thumping, there was a second or two of silence, followed by a scream, and one of the men was thrown out in front of the door so hard he took the porch screen off its hinges and was propelled into the yard, riding the screen on his hands and knees like it was a bodyboard, until he hit the elm tree in the parkway. The elm was probably 100 years old, very big, and didn't give a millimeter when the man plowed into it face first. A few seconds later, Joey came out with Rock in his right hand, another man in his left, carrying them like cats by the backs of their necks. The first man was still in the kitchen, jammed into the dishwasher. Later I found out that Rock and the 3 others had been in the kitchen with Arnold tied to a chair. They thought Arnold had told me to come to his place, and they'd been planning to force me to give them money when I came. I told you, Joey said, to leave the sponsor alone or I would pinch your head. Please, Mr. Powell. Mom was standing by the sidewalk, a half-horrified, half-admiring expression on her face. Couldn't you just give them a stern talking to? Yes, but I did that before when they made trouble the first time. I told them that I would pinch their heads if they came back. They came back anyway. Talking to them again won't help. Pinching their heads will. Grandma was nodding. I won't come back, Rock said. I promise this time. I really do. You don't have to pinch my head. Really, I'll do what you say. See, Mr. Powdermilk? Mom nodded. I think he means it. Joey stared at Rock in one hand, then studied the man in his other hand. He peered over at my father, who shrugged and said, He seems to be telling the truth. Then Joey turned to Grandma, who said, Probably not the best move, young man. Although, personally, I'd like to see you pound the snot out of them. Joey sighed and looked back at my mother. If you really don't want me to. She shuddered. I would really rather you didn't. All right, but if they come back, I'll have to take care of things my way. I understand, and they understand, don't you? Both men nodded enthusiastically. Then please let them go, Mr. Powdermilk, Mom said. He dropped them, and it was like watching those cartoon scenes where the dog or the cat is held off the ground, and his legs start moving faster and faster until he drops and he shoots away. They disappeared in half a second. We all went into the kitchen and found Arnold tied up but not gagged. I introduced him to my parents and Grandma while we untied him. The man slumped against the dishwasher was regaining consciousness. Joe picked him up by the neck and threw him the length of the hallway and out the front door. Arnold was none the worse for wear and made a pitcher of a special iced tea for us all. We all had a glass while Arnold explained how he wanted to set up my account with Mom and Dad. And Grandma asked if Arnold could find her a boxer to sponsor too. Then my mother held her glass up and said, I think a line from Shakespeare, all's well that ends well. Except that wasn't the end. All right, see you for the last chapter.